Hey young world, it's your girl Self Carrie here, back with another astrology video for you, an empowerment astrology video for you. Happy Black History Month, happy Love Month, all right? February is kind of a perfect time to talk about Venus, and that's what this video is going to be about. The reason I think February was the perfect time to talk about Venus is because, well, it's the month of love, right? It's Valentine's Day is this month, but also because it's Black History Month. And so much of I think some of the kind of things that remain that are so painful about the Black experience all over the world has to do with the lack of self-love or the kind of tearing down of self-love because of just generations of persecution and subjugation, so that we're not able to claim that for ourselves. And so I've always thought of Black History Month as this month to really be able to have pride and appreciate the strides our ancestors have made, to celebrate it for everyone, and also to kind of reclaim that self-love for everyone to see. So I felt like Venus was perfect tie-in with Black History Month, as well as it's also Valentine's Day month, of course, right? So why Venus? Venus is interesting. In astrology, we know that we are so much more than our sun signs. The sun sign is really what we, the life force that we put out into the world. But our Venus sign tells us, is very distinct. It tells us a couple of things. It tells us, one, what we're attracted to, which I always tell my clients, so important to know what you are attracted to, is because we often are told by society or societal paradigms or conditioning like what we're supposed to like, what we're supposed to be attracted to. So knowing your Venus sign is so important, because then you can actually align with what fits you, instead of you constantly trying to fit something else. Okay. The Venus sign also tells you your love language, how you would like to receive love, and also how you give love to other people. This is so important to know too, right? Especially in a relationship, but also just in interactions with your family, even, your coworkers, because that's a relationship too. The relationship you have with your boss, the relationship you have with your coworkers, your neighbors, everybody. Venus also tells you how you love others, and not even just like how you like to receive love, but like how you give it. If you have a love language that's like, I like to receive gifts, but your partner's always just is like a more of a touch person, that they are always touching you, but you're like, hey, I would like some gifts. Okay. This is good to know that that's your Venus sign. Okay. And then also, I think probably the most important thing about Venus, and also why I feel like astrology just opened the world for me when I learned this about Venus, is that Venus represents our perception of love, or how we receive love. I always say, the astrology chart is not you. It's your perception of yourself based on the experiences that you've had, that you were kind of destined to have, by the way. And then also your perception of the way the world sees you. So if you carry around this perception, you start to have certain experiences that just, kind of concrete that perception. And then you start to think that that's you. But no, it's not you. It's the experiences that you have had. And then also what you gleaned from those experiences, what those experiences meant about you. I just got super psychological, didn't I? All right, so that's what Venus represents, and also why I find astrology to be so empowering, because once we know what our perceptions of love are, one, we can change them, we can expand them, we can define them, we can refine them. We got something to work with, instead of just being like, I suck and I always attract narcissists. Okay, so if you have a challenging aspect to your Venus, you may be harboring a harsh perception of love. You may be, which might be deterring you from the ability to give it, and also the ability to receive it. because that's actually the best part of love, right? And so it's not just your Venus sign, it's also the certain aspects that you have to it. And in astrology, we have things called aspects. This would be like a triangle, which is a trine, a square, which is a square, an opposition or a conjunction. And this just means, and those are just the major aspects, but this just means like, what is our Venus? What is our love nature? How does it interact with other energies? Like, for instance, if you have a Venus that has a challenging square aspect to Saturn, Saturn is a very stoic, kind of hard, commitment, grounded, it doesn't flow so well with Venus, right? Because Venus wants to be all about love and expansion and just like kind of fantasy and opening up. So, you can look at these things on your chart and be able to say, well, this is my perception of these things, but is it who I am? And do I have to always operate in this way? So astrology has helped me exponentially. I'm just going to say that again, exponentially in terms of my Venus sign, because I have quite a few challenging aspects to my Venus sign, which is strange because my rising sign is Libra. I'm ruled by Venus. My Venus is my chart ruler. It's literally the first thing that people see when they see me is love, because that's what Venus is. And yet my perception of love has a lot of challenging aspects to it. And so astrology helped me so much in being able to understand this about myself and also what I was projecting out into the world because of my perception of love. So I wanted to, because I love you, I wanted to offer to everyone here a real chance to get an in-depth understanding of their perception of love, their Venus sign, the aspects to their Venus, as well as, because I'm an empowerment astrologer, some strategies that I have used and put in place, but also that you can use to help you get a healthy Venus. So that's what I'm offering for this month and also the month of March. These are 40-minute healthy Venus readings. And this will help you understand all the parts of your Venus. If you've been struggling with love, if you have been over-loving, over-giving, if you are highly empathic and you attract certain types of energy that don't want to attract when it comes to love relationships. If you just want to love yourself more and understand how to do that, you're definitely going to want to get one of these healthy Venus relationships readings that I'm going to be offering this month, as well as the month of March. Now, again, the readings are to help you understand how to heal your perception of love and also to attract the right mate for you. Also, what I love about astrology is it gives me a chance to understand divine timing. Because a lot of times we're looking for love because we're actually trying not to, or we're trying to distract ourselves from some other thing in our life that we don't want to deal with. And we're like, well, if I could just get a partner, then I wouldn't have to deal with that thing over there. Divine timing tells you when is the ideal time for you to be welcoming the right kind of love into your life. And so it's really helpful in astrology to know your transits and what's going on, so that you can line yourself up with all that when it's time, right? So remember I said I had a lot of challenging aspects to my Venus? Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of an understanding of what a reading is going to be like in a healthy Venus reading, okay? So one of my challenging aspects to my Venus sign is my Venus is in the sign of Virgo. There's quite, a lot of people have Venus in Virgo, right? But Virgo is actually what astrologers call Venus is in detriment when it's in Virgo. I don't like to use words like that, but that's what you'll probably find on Google. So just for you folks that have Venus in Virgo, you're not doomed, okay? It just means that the kind of exalted version of Venus is in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces is very unconditional love and, just kind of all receiving, all giving, and empathic and all flowing, okay? And Virgo is the opposite sign of Pisces. So when you have Venus in Virgo, we look at love very practically. We also look at doing service to others as how we give love, like being of service to my partner is how I give love, but also being of service. I like to have service done for me as a part of how I receive love. So important to understand that, right? Because all through my high school years, it was like, why am I not on board with these like lovey-dovey K-drama type of relationships? Like, I want somebody who's just like, hey, I'm down, like, and and I'll show up and I'll help you like take out your garbage, and I'd just be like, wow, that's super hot, But I was not interested in the people just give you flowers and things like that. poor people who were trying to get my attention in high school. All right, so another challenging aspect that I have to my Venus is in the 11th house. Now, the 11th house is the house of friendships, a house of community. It's the house of Aquarius. It's a house of like evolution and new things and sudden changes, right? So when you've got your Venus there, it's like, one, you love your friends sometimes more than you love your partner. Okay, you put your friends as a priority. You also have to be friends with people for a long time before you can enter a love relationship with them. That was also very challenging for some of my partners in the past. So having your Venus in 11th house, a little challenging. I also have a square to my Venus to my Neptune. Venus is, what I attract, what I'm interested in, and Neptune is that Pisces energy. It's that floaty, like, oh, love is everything. If you have a square to it, it means that you kind of overdo it, or you are, you're kind of in a fantasy world when it comes to love, and you really have to be more discerning about who you're looking at, that's been an issue for me for sure. I also have Venus square my Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. This means that my immediate and original perceptions of love and relationships was hard because you often see your first parental relationships as like the template for love, and mine were struggling. Okay, my parents were struggling in terms of love, and that's something that I witnessed. So I have a hard aspect to it, to my wounded healer. Okay, and then finally I have Venus square Lilith, and Lilith is so independent. It's really hard for her to fully attach to love when there's a square. So it's like there's also that part of me that's like, I actually need a relationship that's very independent, where we are two separate people who are sovereign beings, and I'm not, I can't just be enmeshed. So these are some of the hard things. Now, I call them challenging because it's hard to move with this type of Venus within a society that has its ideas of love. That's why it's so important that we're now in the age of Aquarius, because all of those old rules about love, about everything, is about to go out the window. So it's actually my time, okay? But it has been challenging to be living in a mostly kind of Saturn Capricorn world for most of my life, and having this type of Venus aspects. Being aware of this really helped me, because I could start to go, oh, I see how I did that with that relationship and how I'm not going to do that anymore. Or what are some of the things that I need to heal about myself? It was right there in my chart so that I don't do that again. Or I have a transit coming up where this type of relationship will come into my life, and I might have total rose-colored glasses and not see everything that's there, or put that person up on a pedestal. So important for me to know, right? This is how you have and keep a healthy Venus. So this is why I really wanted to help people be able to balance this out, especially for Valentine's Day coming up, but also just for the future. Our ideas of love are going to change so differently. And honestly, the most important relationship with love that you need to have is the one you have with yourself. And having an astrology reading that gets your Venus healthy will help you do that. So I am aware, because I wanted to offer this for February and March. Go ahead and schedule your healthy Venus reading. You can do so in the link in my bio on Instagram or through my website. I do get booked up quickly. I've heard this from many people that it's really hard to get on my calendar. So I'm going to offer this throughout February and March. And I'm also going to be opening up some extra days that I can take readings for people, okay? Now this is a 40-minute reading. It's not a super 90-minute, 60-minute reading, so it's a little smaller. So I haven't been able to put a bunch on social media lately because I've been focusing on my own personal membership groups, which you can read more about on my website. But go to my bio, check out my website, get on the list, go get your healthy Venus reading, and definitely catch me back here on Instagram and YouTube and all over the place. I love you. Happy Love Month.